Hey everybody, it's me, Rosalie. I have been putting this one off because I'm not sure if this is going to wreck me the way that Wings for Marie did. I reviewed Tool's song Wings for Marie, and oh my gosh, I was not ready for what happened. I know people have been seeing clips, maybe partially confused as to why I was crying the way that I was. Watch the full review in context to make sense of that. I was not one of those, I'm crying, so I'm going to turn on the camera for a video that goes viral. I was genuinely just trying to review the music. You have been asking me to do so, break down the lyrics and the musical composition. And then it got personal, way more personal than I anticipated, and I kept the camera rolling. I've promised you real talk, real reactions here. So that means sometimes you're going to see me dancing and hollering and being excited, and sometimes you're going to see me hurting and crying because I think that that's important authenticity for us to have honest conversations. My name is Rosalie. We're all about world music and psychology, music for your mental health, documentaries, educational videos. Go through the videos and see what you like, but make sure to subscribe. I'm really honored that you're here. We're going to dive into A Perfect Circle. And I think I may be stalling just a little bit because I don't know what to expect. The band A Perfect Circle is a supergroup, I guess one could say. Maynard James Keenan being part of this group. This band was formed in 1999 and with guitarist Bill Howardell and Tool vocalist Maynard James Keenan. And they released the song Judith. And Judith is Maynard James Keenan's mom, which Wings for Marie was about and for. So I'm going to listen to Judith with you. Oh, I like that.
For the ways that I will never ever choose to be. Oh, so many ways for me to show you how your Savior has abandoned you. Your Lord, your Christ, you had him. Still you pray, never stray, never thought to question why. It's not like you killed someone. It's not like you drove a hateful spirit to his side. Praise the one who left you broken down and paralyzed. He did it all for you.
This composition was epic. From a musical standpoint, oh my gosh, the way they played together beautifully, the drums, the guitar, his voice, Keenan's voice, I just love his voice. Just something so unique about the timbre. And maybe I'm talking about these facts that, I'm just trying to come at it a little bit general and objective versus talking about the full blown message here and the pain here and the psychology because mine might be detaching a little bit. I don't know if you could tell, but I was trying not to. I told myself I don't think I'm going to cry for this one. I'm not going to cry for this one. And then I just feel the grief and the tears swelling. But I'm composing myself. I know you wouldn't mind seeing me break down, but I'm going to compose myself. And I think maybe trying to talk about the composition helps me to stay just a little more objective. This song is I don't know where to start. The musical piece I just love. I love this. I don't even know what exactly it is. I can't really almost put my finger on it. It's the wailing of the guitar. It's the ad-libbing, the O's that sound so grief-stricken and angry and real. It's the drums and the passion and the anger and the fire that they bring in. The bass line. The whole composition is just freaking, just this type of rock is just legendary. But I think what I'm trying to not allow myself to completely lose it over is the lyrics and the pain within. Having listened to The Wings of Marie and seeing now how there's been a shift to a degree in his views about his mom and what happened to her. And the 10,000 days, right? All those days, all those years she was paralyzed and affected by her illness up until her death. It feels like this is pre Wings of Marie. It feels like this is still very much all the anger and the bitterness and the sadness. Where Wings of Marie is still a lot of pain, there's a level of release, perhaps, a level of acceptance, maybe even, dare I say. And here it's still this full blown raging. And I grew up very Christian and I was a firm believer for a long time. And there was a time in my life where if I would have heard this and heard expressions like F your God and F Christ, he did this to you, there would have been something, and I think it would have religion and my own fears that would have let me go, oh, we don't say that though. And oh, no, there's a reason. And you try to explain away things you don't have an answer to. And so that's often where religion, if we're not willing to be brave enough to question things and be honest about our hurt and our fears and our angers, I was not courageous enough. There was a long time in my life where I had a hard time asking questions. I didn't even consider asking certain questions. And there was a lot of fear. As much as the message of the theology is supposed to be about grace, there was a lot of fear and a lot of trying to earn approval and favor, which is contradictory to the doctrine and the theology of a merciful God and absolute grace and unconditional love. And I wasn't mature enough. I wasn't brave enough. I hadn't been taught differently. There was a lot of just focus on obedience and sacrifice and less of me. And so I would have heard this back in the day and I would have been like, oh, we don't say that. This is not, something ain't right here. And now with where I'm at and in regards to my own journey, in regards to my own doubts and questions, and I hope I could say courage to ask questions, I see this and it doesn't evoke within me, oh no, don't say that. Or, oh, no, you got it all wrong. It's not Jesus that did this to her. I more now so empathize with that anger. And I like the double entendre of saying he did it all for you. And that's poignant because that is often a saying in the Christian community, how he did it all. Jesus paid the price. He did it all, right? He took care of it for you. He died on the cross so you can be free, so your soul can live eternally, no more shame, no more sin, and then you'll go to heaven where there will be no more pain and tears. He paid the price. He did it all. But here, the way it's being sung, the message is more of cynicism and of say, he did this to you. He did it all. He caused you to get sick. He caused you to be paralyzed. He did it all, not in the sense of freedom, healing, and liberty, but in the sense of he caused you the suffering. And it's angry. There's a lot of anger here and a lot of hurt, but also a willingness to question it, to say, you believed all this. You are willing to die for this stuff, but what has God ever done for you? Or even saying, there's so many ways that I could prove to you why what you believe is not true. You're an inspiration, right? Saying something positive like so, you're an inspiration, as his mother was. to something that I'll never ever choose to be. Acknowledging both that she's inspirational and that there's something worth looking up to, but also acknowledging I don't want to be like that though. I refuse to follow this path. I refuse to believe what you believed. I'm not going to ever be that way. To then say that the Savior abandoned her, your Lord, right? It's not our or their, it's your. It's creating a distinguishing between what you believed and what I believe. Separation, detachment, if you will, to a degree. It took all you had, never tasting the fruit. And in Christian theology, there's often this idea of being a righteous tree, right? Being like a tree that's planted by streams of water, bearing fruit, being righteous, being rooted deeply. The scriptures, Christian scriptures speak of bearing fruit, right? Fruits of the Spirit, love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, self-control. And here basically saying you believed in something, but you never tasted the fruit. And here too, I know a lot of Christians would possibly say, well, look, there are stories in the Bible of people loving God, believing, and still not tasting the fruit, right? Moses never got to enter the promised land. Joshua did. And all these different examples where people didn't necessarily taste the fruit in their lifetime, but in heaven then they will, or, in eternity. And there's so many different theologies and ways that we try to explain, well, this is why, right? And I think to a degree, sometimes there's validity. When people are quick to blame God for everything, there's validity when other people counter and say, God didn't do this, people did. This was people and their will and their choice. God didn't do this. Why are we blaming him for everything? It's just the way that things are. We live in a broken world. There's pain. People do bad stuff. But then there's the flip side to that, where just as much as people have a valid point by saying, hey, I chose to do this, why are we blaming God for my actions? There's also validity in saying, well, if this God is all powerful, why didn't he stop this or that? Why did he even make this world like it is to begin with, where we have the possibility of doing these wicked things, right? There's still validity for that question too, to say, nah, dude, this is not just people doing bad stuff. This is also just the way of the world. People don't create these sicknesses necessarily. It just is. Why is it like that? Why would a loving God allow this and that? And so there's validity on both sides to ask these questions. And I see here an honesty about exactly the questions that many people have and that there are no easy answers for. And I think it takes a level of denial where, and I've been guilty of that, where we want to have an answer because the uncertainty is scary. The possibility that we got it wrong is scary, but also not knowing the answer is hard. It's not like you drove a hateful spear into his side, and that being a reference to how Jesus was crucified, right? When they drove a spear to test if he was dead, basically saying, hey, mom, you didn't taste the fruit. You're here. This is what your God, your Lord did to you. It's not like you killed anybody. It's not like you were the one who killed Jesus. Why is he doing this to you? Praise the one who left you broken down and paralyzed. Basically saying you're praising this God who would have the ability to heal you. And I think, again, generally speaking, it's understandable to have these type of questions and views and that hurt and anger. But I think if we, for one moment, consider that he saw his mother suffer for so long in unimaginable ways. This is not just, I got into a car accident and now I'm blaming God and I'm angry and saying, God, you did this to me. Why did I wreck my car? Oh no, I lost money. This is all your fault, God. This is someone who has seen deep, deep suffering. And I think there comes a point when you see horrendous things and it's really hard not to go, God, where are you? This is what you want to believe? Where is this God? And I think, like I said, there is validity to that pain. I'm not saying that it's the right answer. I'm not saying that it is all God's fault. Oh, he's right. It's all Jesus' fault. Because there's a whole lot of conversations we can have about how that theology has developed in the New and Old Testament. We're not going to go down that rabbit hole, but how Christianity has developed on the back of Judaism and how Judaism has developed and how much of this is from God and how much of it is man-made and a political agenda and how much is just interesting theological interpretations of who God is and who the Messiah was supposed to be and whatnot. People are in search for something more. We long for God. We long for answers. We long for clarity, for something higher and more powerful. We can talk all day about those things. I'm not saying, oh, he's got it right. This is all God's fault. But I do empathize with the pain when you see suffering like that. And also, psychologically speaking, our human tendency to need to blame somebody. I got to blame somebody. It's not my mom's fault. She didn't kill anybody. She didn't do anything to cause this to herself. It's got to be someone's fault. So it's got to be the God that she believed in because he would have had the power to heal her. And I think some of that frustration is valid because in Christian theology, God, and Jesus particularly, is painted as someone who has all the power and who came to heal. And yes, there's different Bible verses. Some talk about he came for a sword and to divide, right, the sheep from the rest. There's Bible verses that talk about he came to give us peace and life abundantly, for God so loved the world. That's where theology, no matter what religion, gets tricky anyways, because which verse is true? We got to look at context and language and etymology and culture and contemporary application. Things get complicated real quick. But which one is it? Did he come with the sword to divide and to, split the righteous from the wicked? Did he come because he loves everybody? Which one is it? Are we going to separate the grain and the wheat from the rest? Are we going to separate the wicked and from the righteous? Or did God love the whole world that he gave his only son? Which one is it? And I think a lot of these things create frustrations, especially when someone declares, I believe God can heal and God is a God above all these things. And yes, I know a lot of Christians would respond, well, God may be healed during the afterlife. But that doesn't do him any good. That doesn't do Keenan any good, or all the people that are hurting right now or have lost someone. Yes, there may be hope for some to believe that now in the afterlife there's no more tears and weeping. And that's a matter of faith that brings some people comfort and just adds to dismay to others. I think it's a case by case, but I think those questions are valid. And I think because specifically Christian theology claims that God can heal and that he came, did it all. This struggle here, the anger, the pain here of a man who lost his mother to a painful, terrible disease is saying, he did it all for you. He did this. And it doesn't end happy. It doesn't end with hope. It doesn't end with some type of conviction that he got it all wrong. There's just anger. And even if I don't agree with all his conclusions, or on either side of the conversation, I empathize with, I sympathize with the anger. And I can appreciate the honesty and the presence of that much pain, the honesty. How many people do we know that would be willing to be just this honest about their questions, their doubts, their anger, their grief? And there is a time and a place where we need to have those conversations and sit in it. My goodness, there's something about Keenan's voice. There's something about the music, Tool, Perfect Circle, that just really cuts so deep. What does this song mean to you? What are your thoughts on it? And what are some of your theories, theologies, conclusions that help you make sense when you hear things like this? Talk to me in the comments. Subscribe for more music from around the world, psychology, philosophy. My name is Rosalie. I'm honored you were here today. See you on the next ride. Heyo!